If you are looking to buy a home in the spring or summer of 2025, but now you're wondering, is it the right choice to make? Then this video is for you. I'm going to talk about interest rates, what has happened in the last few weeks, and dispel some myths about the market in general, including those about interest rates and the Fed cutting rates. Ray, Mortgage Maestro Group. If you like this kind of authentic educational mortgage content to help you build wealth through real estate, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like these videos so more of them show up for you. Today, I'm just going to simply put it out there. I'll talk about an example of a current VA interest rate. Now, if you're looking at conventional or FHA, this still can apply to you. This is to understand the logic compared to 3 weeks ago, what had happened for that client and what that means for those that waited to lock in their interest rate. What is driving mortgage rates right now? And some tips for navigating the housing market, including some data when I share the screen with you here soon. So first, let's dive into an example of a current VA mortgage for somebody getting a mortgage right now in this crazy market. When they locked in, they were able to get 5.6, and I'm going a little bit global here for you because again, this is just educational. So from that time, this is a $500,000 mortgage. Locking in would be 6.1. Now this example, they did pay 1% discount fee. We're not going to get into should they, shouldn't they in this video, but 1% discount fee. Ultimately, locking in right now would be 6.1 for the same amount of closing costs. What does that mean? In their example, that is $150 per month. Over 5 years, it's over $8,000. If you're buying a house in this crazy market right now, have some elasticity in your budget. If you try to time the market for interest rates, the market has proven to prove you wrong since 2022. Home prices have not come down. In fact, Jerome Powell recently spoke and said, simply put, someone asked him, when does he think home prices are coming down? And he said, when the population starts to decline. There's a severe shortage. Every real estate market is independent of itself. Make sure you get your information from a trusted source. Do your research. Use GPT, Google, Gemini, Perplexity, whatever you're going to use to get that information so you can make an educated decision. Because if it goes to buying a home, there's bigger life decisions that go behind buying the house. Don't not buy because of fear or some videos you clicked on. Get educated. I get that fear can hold you back, but as I showed a client yesterday, Colorado, as an example, averages 4.55% annualized appreciation from 1980 to 2020. There are 7 recessions in that time frame, and that includes the Great Housing Crisis. House prices will not collapse. There's over $32 trillion of equity in America. The people who bought homes more recently have a much higher credit score, credit capacity, down payments were involved, etc. Be careful of what you're hearing and listening to out there. So let's dive further into that. If you're thinking about refinancing, should you refinance? It might be better to get paired up with the lender you want to work with, know that they're knowledgeable, trustworthy, their rates and fees are competitive, and then have them set you up for when the market comes back. That way, when it does, they can lock you in and you can close. That is exactly what is happening for this specific client because they would not be refinancing right now with rates having gone up 0.5% since their rate lock. Then, let's talk about what is driving the craziness that is mortgage rates. And I'm going to share my screen with respect to that. Let's dive into what is changing mortgage rates right now. If you've been in the market and you didn't pre-approved, make sure to stay in close contact with your loan officer because rates have been jumping around. Recently, we're seeing a little bit of recovery in interest rates. However, it's very fluid and will continue to be so as the dialogue comes out with relationship to tariffs, inflation, unemployment. What is the Fed going to do? My candid opinion, they're going to want to see a lot more movement with inflation, and now they have a growing concern about unemployment. So I actually don't think they're going to cut rates this year. Keep in mind, the Fed rate cuts do not directly lower or raise mortgage rates. So make sure you're getting educated with your loan officer about that. So in the last few weeks, we had seen rates move in a 0.5% trajectory. When you're getting pre-approved, have that loan officer show you What will happen to your payment if rates do go up, do go down? Ask them this question though. If you go under contract, if you lock in your interest rate and then rates come dramatically lower in that time, are they able to execute what's known as a float down on your interest rate for you? If they can, you don't got to worry about the market. You will have the protection of the locked rate. And if the rates come dramatically lower in that window of time you're under contract, they can float your rate down without financial impact to you to get you the best rate before closing. So make sure to talk to them about that. Now, we talked about what's driving the rates. We talked about current rates. Let's talk about navigating the housing market. I'm looking at some data right here. This is for Denver, Colorado. What do I see? Home prices are not going down. The median price of new listings is slightly down from earlier this year, but you also have to think about seasonality as it relates to real estate. The median price of listings in Denver, Colorado is down. The median list price, that's for new listings, the median list price is relatively flat, but up. So think about seasonality. If new homes are coming to market, then they are coming in at a higher price. We are seeing days on market come down, and it was as high as January, showing some data as high as 122 days right now, lower. But as a buyer, you have a little time to think about this. So keep that in mind. There are more homes in the market, yes. Rents, though, rising again. The market action would show that Denver is still a slight seller's advantage. But look, if you're buying a house right now, as I tell my clients, you have time to think about it. You might be able to negotiate on those inspections. You can get things resolved. Seller does want to sell the house to you. If you have questions about this, post them in the comments below. What you're seeing in your marketplace, what you would like me to talk about, watch other videos, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. We'll catch up with you soon.